Jessica Vaughan is with us now, Center for Immigration Studies, Director of Policy Studies. Jessica, where do you think all these battles are going?
Well, you know, if I were a member of Congress, I think I'd start to be a little upset that the judiciary branch of the government is starting to basically take the lead on immigration policy, it seems like. And really, you know, Congress needs to start getting into the act and taking back some of the authority that the Constitution gives to Congress to make our immigration laws. That's really the best solution to this, is that they need to get out of their own way and start figuring out how to pass some laws that need to be passed, whether it's on, you know, clarifying things like sanctuary policies and what's permissible, or the asylum system that would help the executive branch and the Trump administration deal with, for example, this caravan of people who are apparently now in the vicinity of the border and ready to make a scene and kind of test our laws, and to give the Trump administration the resources to enforce the laws that Congress passes. So, I mean, this isn't what our founders envisioned for immigration policy, to have it be made by federal judges.
Yeah, but it is, to your point, it is what it is. So I guess now I have to ask, as this caravan approaches, and depending on the numbers, it's anywhere from 750 to 1,500 strong. I don't know what it is, but it should actually be termed caravans, because there are more large groups, largely coming from places like Honduras, who are all allowed into Mexico and then brought to the border to just instigate something. But I don't know what the truth is. I just know that part of the strategy on the part of getting National Guardsmen at the border was to deal with this. Is that a bit too provocative?
No, I don't think so. I think the idea is to send the message that if you think you're going to leave this caravan and try to come across illegally, you're very likely to be caught and returned very quickly. Now, the caravan organizers have said that they intend to send people to the legal ports of entry. I mean, it's obvious that their intention is to make a scene. And they're kind of using these migrants who've come along, believing that they're going to be let into the United States.
But who are they, Jessica? These migrants, I'm told, they're far from exclusively Mexican. Who are they?
They're mostly Honduran, apparently, and most of them apparently have left for economic reasons. There's a lot of. But
it looks like the Mexican government hasn't done really anything to stop them, and that they're behind instigating whatever might come at the border. It seems at face value.
That's right. They've actually issued these people in the caravan travel documents so that they could travel legally through Mexico. But very importantly also, the Mexican government felt that it needed to make it clear that these people could apply for asylum in Mexico. And that's going to be very important to the Trump administration's efforts to deny these people admission to the United States, because they can simply say, look, you had your chance in Mexico. There's no reason for you to be here asking for asylum on the U.S. border. We have no obligation to let you in. So that could be very helpful if they do stick to their guns and say, we're simply not going to allow this stunt to succeed, because that will set off who knows how many more caravans who will try to do the same thing. And American communities simply cannot accommodate endless, groups of thousands of people coming here to settle here and bypassing our legal immigration system.
Yeah, and on, wave after wave. Jessica, thank you very much. Very good seeing you.